Body up and moving. Nelson, so happy to see you there. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Just love my friends in Maine. Just love y'all. Okay, so here's what I'm going to share, which is that first of all, I co-authored this with Chrissy D'Agostino, who is she's really the ECE brains behind this joint project that we've done and created together. Um, and she has been doing ECE work for many, many years, and also been at the same time gaining a lot of training in nervous system state regulation, right? So she's like a Circle of Security trainer, and she's also gone through Laurie DeSautel's, Butler University neuroscience or applied neuroscience and education program, and she's done a lot of things, Brazelton points and this and that. So, anyways, she's really the perfect person for me to have done this with because I'm not an ECE person. I was once a parent to young children, but I have not spent time in the ECE space. What does that mean? Like in the early year space of young kids and infants and toddlers, and that's not been my wheelhouse. And so, but it's definitely a passion for me, and it's more importantly, not more importantly, as importantly, I've wanted to create something that we could also share with parents because give me a thumbs up if you feel like it would be so great if we could be doing more of this work in community and in sharing with parents. And I'm going to share with you a few reasons why, and this is why I bring up Suckytown. Okay. I want you to read the statistic for me for a moment. And then I want you to drop into the chat for me what strikes you about this statistic. What's striking about this statistic? By the way, while some of you are doing that, I just want to check back and look at who's here with me. So many of my good friends from Maine. Love you guys. So glad you guys are here. And some from friends from New Hampshire. That's lovely. Like Betty. Love that. Thank you for joining me. So appreciate it. So first message, not able to function. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Can I just get a little like, whoa, right here? Yeah, with that face too, with the face. Whoa. And no, I'm not making light of it. I'm trying to help us modulate with this very scary true statistic. 41% of parents today say that they are so stressed they cannot function, y'all. That's what they're saying. And that was something that Chrissy knew and understood. That was something I was hearing when I train with teachers, is just the struggles that they feel like parents are having. And it was very important to me for us to create something where we can start working to maybe build a bridge or amend the relationship that has been ripped apart and torn apart for the better part of I'd say almost 20 years. I'd say like the trust in public education from parents has really eroded. And I also know, having been an educator and listening to teachers speak today, that they feel very much um, like a target for parents too. Okay. So yeah, it's a lot. So if you're a parent yourself, I want you to be, as we go through some of this stuff, I want you to be thinking about it from, if you can, both hats, like as a parent or maybe a grandparent, thinking about your experience of public education or how you feel about the educators where you live. What is that relationship like, right? So let me just let's see if I can advance here. Okay, so you might be wondering, like, why? Is it any different than it used to be? Like, parenting has always been hard, and that is true. But what I want you to notice here is that what we collated from our research is that there are two conditions of parenting that are persistently stressful, whether you're trying to raise kids now or you were trying to raise kids generations ago. And the first one is inconsistent sleep. Give me a little bit of this, like doom, 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 doom. If you agree with that, can you just give me a little thymus thumping? I'd like to see that affirmation. The inconsistent sleep. I know myself, 5 years of that made me insane, right? And then the other one too is the increased responsibility, especially for a first-time parent or even a parent that is having multiple children, now have to care for multiple children. That also is very stressful and has been in every generation. But I want you to notice that there is these other conditions here that I'm sharing with you. Financial strain due to inflation. And y'all, I just got back from Spain literally 2 weeks ago. I was there visiting my son in Barcelona. And it was like, and I remember thinking this too when I was in France a few years back. There were so many families all about, but one of the things that struck me most when I was there was like, wow, the cost of living in the US is significantly different than in this country, right? I just really was aware of that. Like, inflation is no joke here in the US and how much that has made it harder for parents, even if there are it's a two-income household, it's just harder to get by than it ever has been. Um, Increased work family conflicts. I feel like I have lived this. We're finally empty nesters this year, and wow, like it's kind of like a honeymoon because we're not trying to figure out anymore like who's doing what, right? And that's very real. That if you have a two earning income family, that people are both trying to do their best at their jobs and then also in the home, and then there's the kids and who's going to take care of this and deal with this and pick up whomever and get this, person what they need over here. So there's a lot there with our hectic scheduled lifestyle. Parental isolation. I mean, I really would love to dig deep and nerd out with y'all on this one. I'm not going to because of time, but what I want to say about that is we take for granted that we live in very unique times. We think that generations have lived like we live today, and just nothing could be further from the truth. And one of the things that we know, especially in the US, is that as immigrant families have come to this country, initially they experience a lot of tight social density because they're living amongst each other and near each other to support one another. And as those families grow and develop and have new children and that sort of thing, and with the great migration that has occurred in this country, where people go where opportunity is, families have become increasingly splintered over time. And because we live in such a busy lifestyle, there's just a lot fewer connections than we once had before. So if you don't have family that live nearby, it's likely that you may live in a neighborhood or live in an area where you don't know a lot of the other people who live around you. And so therefore they're not providing you with any kind of support, right? We have these very kind of micro family units. Now, for my friends in Maine, you're like, that's not true. Because Maine is really unique in this way. I'm not kidding. And other parts of the country can be too, where you have pockets of places where people stay for generations. And so there's a lot of community and relational density. But I'm telling you right now, that's not common. And it's hard. I mean, Hillary Clinton was right. Does take a village to raise children, right? It does. And when we don't have that, we can find ourselves feeling very alone. Last thing on Sucky Town, and then we're going to move on. The increased technology use. I want to show you this image because I think it's really powerful. And Chrissy was the person who found it. We're going to hold on, I'm just going to go back to, hold on, this one right here. Whoops. Let me go back to that. Bear with me one second because I want to tell you about this. Go back. No, there. Okay, hold on. It's just, bear with me, guys. X out of that. Trying to make this go back. There. I want you to see this image here. Linda Stone, she's the person who came up with this phrase, continuous partial attention. I want you to hear this too. This is unbelievable. She was a researcher. Trying to remember if it was Google or Apple. Can't remember which one it was. One of those companies. She was a researcher for them because she was studying back in the early 2000s, or early to mid 2000s. She was studying what was going to be the impact on attention with the advances in technology, and in particular, multi-device use in technology. And so she came up with this term, continuous partial attention, to describe how technology interferes with experiences we're having in the moment. And this is a big part of what Chrissy, and so I wanted to read you a little quote from the book, from the new guidebook, about what we're saying in there about this phenomenon here, the continuous partial attention, because Chrissy really feels strongly that this is part of the reason why we're seeing more disruption and attachment in early experiences. And so she feels like this is a major factor, one of the most, yeah, salient factors of what's creating interruption to attachment early in life. So I'm gonna read to you. Is it okay if we do like a little story hour for a second? I want to read you a little clip. Yeah. Okay, great. I want to read you a little clip of the book. Bear with me. I hope I stopped sharing my screen so you guys don't have to look at that. Okie dokie. So, alrighty. I hope I'm not sharing and you're not all feeling like, oh my God, I'm gonna be sick trying to see this. All right. Um, The Landscape of Childhood and How Modern Life is Changing Our Children. This is written by Chrissy. Imagine the life of an infant years ago before click-in car seats, bumpo chairs, and mechanized baby bouncing devices. A baby was carried in the arms of a caregiver throughout the course of her day. And as the baby is carried, she feels her mom's body temperature, heartbeat, and breathing. She feels mom's arm and hand holding her close on her hip. The mom's nervous system synchronizes with her baby as they vocalize together, coo at one another, and move through each moment with each other. These simple moments of two nervous systems co-regulating and synchronizing in the course of a typical day accomplishes powerful work in the developing brain. It also influences this nervous system state of both mother and baby. Touch, movement, and synchrony regulate both mom and baby's cortisol levels and help the baby's sensory system integrate and organize. Biobehavioral synchrony, anybody who's in training with me in the last 3 months has been hearing me use this term. Biobehavioral synchrony is how early relationships shape our biology moment by moment in early development. When we think about and compare childhood back then, meaning like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, with a baby today who spends much of her time in a carrier, in a seat or a swing, we can quickly imagine the lost opportunities for movement, connection, and co-regulation over time. Then imagine adding a smartphone device to mom's hand. This device draws her attention away, replacing a warm smile, eye contact, or vocalization with a distracted presence. And this is the key thing that we're trying to help ourselves recognize. And this isn't just true for moms, this is true for all of us as adults. I've had to now in trainings, I used to have two norms in my trainings, care for self, care for others. I've now had to add into that, tuck your tech away, because we, the adults, y'all, we are addicted to our technology, myself included. And I want you to hear that not as a personal failing. It's not a personal failing. The devices have exquisitely been designed to make you addicted. Okay, so it's the pathways are getting rewired up when we interface and interact with technology. And for all of us, we have to use technology to do our jobs, to communicate with our loved ones. So don't hear this as blame. I want you to just recognize that this is something that's happening to us. So I'm going to go back to that sentence. Researcher Linda Stone coined the phrase continuous partial attention to describe the digital phenomenon that is common among parents today. As a result, children experience fewer opportunities to synchronize, connect, move, and regulate their bodies and nervous systems with a present caregiver. And by the way, we make a note at the beginning of the guidebook when we use the term parent, we're talking about the primary caregiver. Could be a parent, a grandparent, could be a foster parent, could be an adoptive parent, but we just, for simplification, we use the term parent. But we're really talking about the person who's primarily caring for that child. And so I'm going to stop, I'm going to stop there, and actually we're going to do a little regulating for a moment. Um, I want you to try something with me because I know I'm kind of like giving a lot to you, right? Giving a lot to you right now, even in this bit of time together. I want to do something for a moment and then I want to hear some feedback from you before I continue to share. So let's just see which parts of our face are wiggly and which parts of our face are stiff. All right. So let's try the ears first. Can you wiggle your, I'm dying to see this. Put your hand, if you want, if you're willing, put your hair back. Can you wiggle your ears? I'm like, I, I don't know that I like trying to wiggle my other parts of my face, see if I can see. My grandfather, I swear to God, my grandfather used to be able to wiggle his ears. Okay, wiggling the ears is really hard. How about the eyebrows? Can we try to wiggle the eyebrows? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Look at other people too. Nice. How about the eyes themselves? So can we wiggle? That's kind of weird. Wiggle the eyes. How about the nose? Can we try to wiggle the nose? Good. And squish it up and down, maybe? Mm. Why I have to be recording this, I have no idea because it's not like I really want to show this to anybody. How about the let's try the jaw. Hmm? Ooh, can you notice that kind of like how maybe you were holding some tension there when you wiggle that jaw? Good. And the mouth? Mm. And how about the whole face? Can we just try to wiggle the whole face at the same time? So this is wiggly and stiff parts where we're trying to teach our children about, young children about the body, how it feels when it moves, how we can experience those sensations on the inside. That's another newer connector practice that we have as well. Oh, Megan, you're so sweet. Thank you. But so going back to Sucky Town for a moment and connecting some of what we're starting to see as what we feel like are real differences in early interpersonal experiences, right? For the baby and for the parent. Just kind of curious if anybody wants to drop any reflection into the chat about what I'm saying related to continuous partial attention, our addiction to technology, how that may impact how present we're able to be with our children today. Jennifer, no ear wiggling over here. Right? It's maybe a special talent. I don't know if it's actually true or not. Probably Chris. This is Chrissy's practice, so she may know whether or not it's really. Becky, I'm just looking back. I feel a lot of grief about this. Becky, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, and I'd actually love to hear more about it if you're willing to share. Yeah, right, Elizabeth. She's saying our SLPs see this as a reason for a lot of the referrals for the littles. And Steve said, on my phone too much and definitely feel bad about this. So that's the thing that, too, I want you to know, like, and I didn't read you this from the guidebook, but right in the beginning, right there, there's a note that says, listen, we're going to talk about things that dysregulate all of us to talk about these things, but we've got to talk about them. And we want you to know that we feel like you're doing and have been doing the best you can. And the reason we wrote this resource was to support you in this journey essentially of recognizing some things that we can do to change the tide of things. But like we're all in this together. We're all struggling in the same ways. So I don't want people to feel as though, and I know it brings up shame. I know that, but I don't want you to feel um convicted from us at least. Okay. Let's see what's Jennifer saying here. Continues partially. I've also read about the students and cell phone use. Yeah. Even in their backpack, students are focused. Yeah. Did I miss a notification? Yes, Kids, I have Voxer. Do anybody here have Voxer? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh, I shouldn't even tell you about it because as we're talking about phone addiction. Voxer is a virtual walkie-talkie device. So you can do instead of texting people, you push the microphone and you can send audio text messages to one person or a group of people. It's actually kind of great in some ways. But I what Jennifer is talking about here with that feeling of the pull, that's what I mean about the addiction. That's what makes something an addiction is when you're not even actively using the substance, whatever the substance is, but you can't stop thinking about it or you feel yourself drawn to it even when you're not actively in the presence of it. And that's the distraction to the presence piece, y'all. That's the distraction to the presence piece. And the thing about it is the people who are most sensitive to that distraction piece are our children because they're our young children because their hard wiring is seeking the hard wiring in the biology of it is that their body is seeking signals from us like, are you with me still? You know, like Chrissy offers a really beautiful definition of attachment. It's not hers uniquely, but it's basically like, what is a secure attachment? It's like knowing that you are seen and safe and soothed, like you've been seen and safe, and you have also been actively soothed when you needed to be because someone was present. It's like being able to trust and relax into someone was there. And so that's a really big piece of what we feel like is happening for our kids. It's just one of the many things. It's not the only thing. It's just one of the many things that's happening for our young children that's causing their behaviors and development to be what's the word I'm looking for? Disrupted. That's the best way to put it. No, it's just giving you a little bit of a preview here of there's Chrissy there on the left-hand side of this new guidebook. And I appreciate doing a new book it's a huge undertaking, you all, and it's really, yeah, Marissa, do you have me? Yeah, that's right. And when you have secure attachment, you have that like embodied experience of someone's got me. Someone's got me. And so it is, and not that you can't heal from insecure attachment experiences, but just this is what we want our children to experience from us, whether we're a parent or we're an early years provider. We want them to feel like they're seen and that they matter, right? So here's what I want to share with you here too. And I know, and I'm aware that we don't, well, I don't know if she's been yet. I don't know if anybody knows. We have a new Surgeon General appointed. I don't think she's been confirmed yet, though. Anyways, that's a whole controversial issue. So I'm going to let you hear from our last fully present U.S. General talk a little bit about this matter. And I think it'll help provide additional context for why the regulated classroom framework embedded in this kind of context is so needed right now.
According to the American Psychological Association, 48% of parents say most days their stress is completely overwhelming, and that number drops to 26% of adults without kids.
Now, as the new school year begins, the U.S. Surgeon General is issuing a health advisory on parental stress. Here to discuss is the U.S. Surgeon General and father of two, we should point out, Dr. Vivek Murthy. Thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, glad to be with you today.
You have been very vocal about mental health with children and adolescents. Now you're issuing this advisory specifically geared towards parents. What is going on?
Well, one of the things that I realized early on in my tenure as Surgeon General was that we were living through a mental health crisis in America, and it was one that was hitting our kids particularly hard. But as I traveled around the country and spoke to families across America, one thing became very clear. It's that parents were struggling too. And we cannot address fully the youth mental health crisis without also recognizing that parents' mental health impacts the mental health of kids. And right now, millions of parents are struggling with overwhelming amounts of stress. We need to pull back the curtain on what's happening to them and find ways to get them more support.
Dr. Murthy, what do you think is driving these numbers and this disproportionate rate of loneliness among parents?
Yeah, so the numbers are deeply concerning. It's one about how many parents are overwhelmed by stress, and nearly half of parents are saying that most days their stress is completely overwhelming. But the loneliness numbers are also surprising and striking, which is that 65% of parents are saying that they struggle with loneliness, and that number actually goes above 75% if you talk to single parents. And so both of these contribute to the major stresses parents are experiencing. But here's where it's coming from. There are the old stressors that parents have always had to deal with, worrying about safety, worrying about how to manage the stress of the teenage years, dealing with many, many sleepless nights, which I can attest to as a parent myself. But there are also new stressors. Parents today have to worry about how to manage social media and phones for their kids, which is a major source of stress. And the loneliness epidemic, the mental health crisis that's hit kids particularly hard, is a major source of stress in parents' lives. When you put these together with the fact that many of us have frankly lost our villages, we don't have the kind of supports that we may have had in the past, and the entire challenge and work of parenting is falling on the shoulders of one or two parents alone, that is really a recipe for what you're seeing now, which is extreme mental health stress and strain on parents.
We know that mental health and physical health are inextricably linked. So what impact is this having on parents' physical health?
Well, we do have a lot of evidence now that stress has negative effects on your health, physical and mental. And it's not that all stress is bad. If you have small, manageable amounts of stress intermittently, that can actually help build resilience. Think about when you go to the gym and you put physical stress on your body by lifting weights or working on the treadmill, the elliptical. But the problem with what parents are going through right now is the stress is both extreme and it's also prolonged. And those two things together can actually lead to both bad physical and mental health outcomes. I should just say, though, that it's something that.
So I'm going to pause it here because I want you to hear that he's talking about what we talk about in the regulated classroom as window of tolerance, meaning he talked about how it's important for us, the adults, to have opportunities to experience stress, right? And I think this is one of those things where we get confused from the terminology. Because oftentimes when we hear the word stress, we automatically assume that it has a negative connotation or association, that it's bad for us. But one of the things that I've been trying to say more frequently in my trainings now is we need stress, right? We need activation in the body's nervous system. That is not a bad thing. That's actually the edge of growth. And this is especially true for developing children, early developing children. You know, again, I'm not going to get into it here at this webinar, but the insufficient play experiences that our kids experience today, like the fact that a lot of their play experiences have been replaced with either structured activity or technology, is not providing them with sufficient stress, good stress experiences, right? And when I say good stress, what I mean by that is the activation in the nervous system and feeling that increased heart rate, that increased respiration, that, increased movement of the body that is so vital for the development of the children. And so it's good for the kids to not only experience that, but for it to be in the context of relational and environmental safety, right? That like we're in environments where the adults are encouraging the children to play, like to actively play. So, for example, I want to do something with all of you that's very nostalgic in nature for many of us. And I think I may have even used it maybe in one of the last trainings or webinars. I can't really remember, but if you can, I'd like for you to stand. And if you need to stay seated, that's fine. You still can do this. I want you to pull your hands like this for me, because what I want you to be thinking about is, how do I integrate these qualities of experience into my daily experiences with my children, whether that's when you're a professional or you are a parent yourself, right? So one thing I'm going to do right now is we're going to push forward, row. We're going to pull back, row, push forward, row your boat. Try to stay with me in terms of the sequence of this. I know it's a little challenging. Row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So even like getting up there and moving, what do you notice is happening in your body experience? Even just doing a little virtual row, row, row your boat. What do you notice in your body experience? Oh gosh, it's already 12:30. How is that already possible? Okay, we're just gonna go a little tiny bit long, just a little tiny bit. Does anybody notice? Yes, good, Stephen. Excellent. You're noticing that it's changing your mood. Things flowing. I love who just said that. Megan, of course you did. Thank you, Megan. Kayla, my body goes back to childhood mood. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we're stimulating that nostalgic, deep body memory that is paired with activation and pleasure, activation and longing, activation and warmth. That's what nostalgia is, right? And so you're actually, I mean, I felt it. You can probably hear it in my voice. My heart rate increased even as I was just doing that little bit of row, row, row your boat, which is an activator practice in the regulated class in the early years, But what I want to say to you is that this is why the framework, I want to share it with you one more time for those of you who may are not familiar with it. Hold on, bear with me one second. Where did you go, my framework? Okay, get out of there. Thank you for your patience, y'all. I can't. Oh, it is. Okay, there it is. There it is. All the things I have to do to try to just get to here. This is what I want you to say. Okay, so we're still, I don't know if I'm sharing this right now. I am sharing. We're still here. This is the framework that is embedded in the early years.
Emily, I'm sorry, you're not where you think you are. We're seeing an email.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh no, I appreciate you saying that so much. Let me stop sharing. Thank you for saying that. Let me see if I can try that one more time. Oh, here, I think this might be right. Give me a thumbs up if that's right now. Yeah. Thank you for interrupting me for that. I appreciate you. We're still working within the same model, the same framework that we're working with in the regulated classroom with the early years. And what we're trying to provide you with the new resource is age appropriate connectors, activators, settlers, affirmations, right? Because we know that these are critical developmental experiences that are insufficient. They are insufficient today in childhood. That is the primary reason that we're seeing an increase in disruptive and aggressive behaviors, disorganization, lack of body coordination, like a gazillion things that you hear from early childhood educators or preschool parents, or excuse me, preschool providers, kindergarten teachers, even first and second grade teachers. Our kids need these qualities of experience, and they need that they need us to facilitate them with them. And when we do that, especially if we do it from a place of nostalgia, it's very resetting and regulating for us, right? To be able to co-regulate in this way. And we did a lot of work in this particular guidebook too, to really kind of redefine what we mean by co-regulation in the regulated classroom. Okay, it's not calm adult to dysregulated child. It is state sharing, right? It's recognizing that our physiology, even if it's in service of protection, can be shifted in an experience with our children to bring us back into a state of connection together through this shared experience. Even doing little tiny things like row, row, row your boat, or come under my umbrella, 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 or wiggling our faces together. Those little tiny moments of play and rhythm and settling and all the things, they make a difference. I'm going to stay on here if anybody else has any questions, but I want to let you all peace out if you need to. Thank you for joining me today. We're really, really, really excited for the early years. Let me see if I can I thought I picked up the link so I could drop it in here if you want to do the pre-order on it. I'm really excited about it, and I feel really proud of it. It's coming. It's coming. So thank you for being here with me. Can we wave goodbye to each other? See y'all. I'll stay for a few minutes too. Oh, Elizabeth asked the question, will you be offering any training? We will. And we aren't wanting to do anything until the book is in hand so that people can have it at the training. Our hope is that would be by early May, we can open up training. I know that Chrissy's going to probably facilitate one initially that's going to be virtual, like a 6-hour virtual, I think is what we're talking about right now. It's not a train the trainer, it's just training in early years. We have a lot of requests for training. We're figuring it out, but absolutely, this is work that we are keen to be doing and want to be doing, and feel like it really helps to also make my work or this work more comprehensive. We need to be able to reach more people with this understanding, and I think parents is the next best group to try to reach. We really need them as partners with us. They need us, we need them. We really do, especially in this time of social isolation. Yeah, we're very excited about it. Bye, Kayla. Thank you. Thanks, Brenda. Right, Megan? Thanks for making me stand up. Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks. Right, Becky? Living the partial attention thing as we speak, and log off and spend some time with my 2-year-old Nate. Oh, see, spring breakers. Thank you. This really sparked something in me again. Take care. Love that. Right, Sarah? Pumping. And you must be thinking of those beautiful grandbabies as you're thinking about all this. Thank God they have you. And I mean, I know you have great kids and but it's a lot. It's so much, right? Any way in which that landed for you, any thoughts you had personally reflecting on this? No, people want to know that, but Sarah's got what do you have, 4 grandbabies under the age of 4? Something like that. Yeah.
And we have 2 more coming.
Oh my God, seriously? The Nelsons are going to have their own village there in Maine. Are you serious?
And they're all girls. They're all girls.
Congratulations. Oh, Mr. Man, it's coming in strong. He had 2 boys, now he's all granddaughters. That's hilarious.
I love this. I cannot wait for the guidebook to come out. You got me, girl.
Thank you. I'm really proud of it. It's good. It's really good. Goes deeper than the last at work too. So I'm just really thrilled about it.
Cannot wait. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you. Take good care. Yeah, yeah, right, Carol. Thank you. This is great to know that we can bring it in for 3 and 4 year olds. 100%. Like we need it. We need it so bad for the young ones. Oh, yay. So Kay Richards, thank you for that question. Yes, we figured out what happened with Owl's Nest. Because like, where are you? You still on here? I'm not sure if you're still on here or not. Oh, they left. Okay. Yeah, we had a distributor in Canada that got sold and we couldn't reach them. We didn't know why they weren't replying to us and they didn't have any more of our books. They just got a whole bunch more of our books. They're going to carry the early years too. So we have back to having Canadian distribution, which is great. Anybody here? Questions? Anything I can help you with? Or
Emily, are your trainings just for educators or can parents come to those as well? How do they usually work?
so I love your question so much. We have just started doing with schools, we've just started doing family trainings. Um, But that question has already come up. Have we thought about doing trainings for parent communities or parents? I think we're probably going to do that, Steve. I think so. Again, I tread lightly with this because I'm like, I feel most at ease when I'm training with people that like I know their job. I mean, I've been a parent, but like Chrissy's done a ton of parent coaching and parent training. Like that's her wheelhouse. That's what she's been doing for years. So she might first take the lead on that work until I feel like maybe because I like to be able to speak from a place of like experience. But yeah,
Does she do like personal trainings or like how does she work when she does
yeah.
parent?
So she's done because she's been in Massachusetts doing state contract work for Massachusetts for a number of years. Like that's part of the, the state work that she does, where they basically hire consultants to deliver parent support. And so that looks like training and coaching, and it's usually virtual, I believe. Some of it might be a little bit in person. But you know, um, she's jazzed. I mean, she's dying to do this work I mean, she's dying for this work to really, I mean, she's been doing this work, but now that we have the framework and the guidebook and just more resource to really make it simple and applicable in a very easy way, she's really excited to see it grow more. Um, so we'll get there. I think we'll get there with offering parent trainings. It's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I've ever gone to a parent training. Like, do parents go to training? I would have. I totally would have. I've gone to every other kind of training, but
Yeah.
Steve, what do you do? Where are you from?
I'm a parent. The My son goes to the Bay School in Blue Hill, Maine. Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and so the teacher for my 4-year-old said I should try to get on this if I could. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah,
great. Oh my gosh, I love that an educator told you about this.
yeah.
See, and this is exactly the space we want to work in. This is the space we want to work in, is that chasm between the educators and the parents. We want that bridged so much. So I think it's going to be about like, how do we do that in service of that? I think that's probably going to be the first of the work anyways. But yeah, I mean, if you have feedback for us about like, what would a training look like for parents, or what would you want as a parent?
Just these activities that you just did. I mean, I think like it's so simple,
They're
but it's
so
complicated.
simple.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Because parents, yeah, if you're stressed out all the time and in constant movement, it's hard to focus on these simple tasks that could really help, focus him because he's a 4-year-old. I don't know how I'm going through a divorce. And so he's a
oh,
4-year-old. And I don't know how much of it is like related to him just being a 4-year-old,
mhm,
or like, is it because I live in New York half the week and half the week in Maine and I see
mhm,
him and it's all so, but I think just having simple exercises, just like even putting out a video, a
mhm.
10-minute video of
Well,
exercise
that's
that
so when
parents,
the book gets released, we have a QR code that's going in it to bring
great.
you into our community practice so you can see all of these things in video form. Maybe it'll be Chrissy doing them because that's what she did for years, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what we want to offer, Steve, because a lot of our parents today too are younger. Not that you're not young, but I mean, like our really young parents, they haven't had a lot of these experiences in their own childhoods. They didn't do finger play. They didn't do nursery rhymes. They didn't do hand clapping ditties. They don't even know how to do these sensory motor kinds of play. And so that's what we're trying to, bring back in is like, let's do these things. But if you have nostalgia, that's the biggest thing that I encourage people when I train educators is like bring in what you did as a child that you loved. That's the most authentic place to share with your children from. And the question about what is what, you'll never tease that out. But so that's why I think just buckets of dysregulation versus regulation is more helpful because you would never be able to tease out what's going on for him. Is it the loss of routine? Is it the loss of the marriage? Is it the, he's 4 and he's developmentally hit he's on a precipice of a major milestone. Like, none of us really ever know that stuff. But what we do know is that when our kids aren't doing well, we know that. Or we know when we're not doing well. That's actually our starting point is noticing our own state. And when we're in the presence of our own children, do we feel connected and present in the moment, or are we distracted and stressed, So
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, glad you were here. So glad you were
Yeah.
here.
I have to jump. Have a great
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Go
Thank
for
you.
it. Bye. Take good care.
Bye.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Emily, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
This is Gretchen,
Hi,
and
Gretchen.
I don't work in a public school. Used to. A public school teacher told me about you, and I now work in a community center, and I'm wondering, you were talking about, the question was about training for parents, but is there do you ever offer sort of open trainings for people who serve
Yes.
students that are not in the public school, and how do I find out
Yes.
about those?
Yes. So we do totally, Gretchen. Where are you at? Are you in Maine, did you say?
Yeah, I'm just north of Portland, and I'm also a music educator. When I was like, oh.
Girlfriend, this was made for you.
I know. That's what my friend
Probably
told me.
write
She's
my
like,
next
"You
book
gotta
with me.
find out."
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we do oftentimes when we do train the trainer programs, which we host them kind of all over, people come in from mental health, they come in from nonprofits. It's not about the setting, it's about what's the nature of your work. Do you work with people? If you work with people, this information is totally relevant, whether you're working with adults or children. And so the best place to kind of get that information is through the socials. We announce things there, but also just check back with frequency to look at the events and see the things that are posted in the events are our public events. Most of our trainings are not public, but so you won't see those, but you'll see the ones that you could register for. We'll be coming up to Maine again to do another one of these. We're going to be doing more ECE work in Maine. And so those will probably be open to the public to be able to join if they wanted to. So, stay kind of abreast, check back you can also sign up for our newsletter and we'll send you information about those trainings, but
Great.
and I promise we don't spam. We really try not to do that. It's not our brand. We're here for support, not to bug people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Shayna, it's so good to see you, Betty. It's so good to see you. Hi.
It's lovely to see you, Emily.
Oh, it's so good to see you. How are things going? How are you doing?
Great. I was actually going to send you an email, and I still can to give a little bit more detail, so I'm not taking other people's time. But so I work for anybody who doesn't know. So I'm a social worker at the Maine Educational Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. So I've trained a bunch of our staff. Emily has come to do some work with us, and with families that day. Parents were involved, and it was amazing to see the parents playing that day and really engaged in all the activities. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And as I've trained our staff, we have an early intervention team. And so I've sort of coined, before you were actually doing this book, I was sort of coining the regulated classroom for families. And so we were sort of talking about how that's incorporated, using those concepts and how that works at home.
Yeah.
And so the Maine Hands and Voices group is a group of mostly parents, but they have professionals come to their conference too. But it's a group of parents of deaf and hard of hearing children, and they have an annual conference. So they've asked for me to present, and they specifically, board members who have seen me present about the regulated classroom, wanted me to bring those things in and do those activities. So I just 100% wanted to honor kind of this is Emily Daniel's work, and here's how we're bringing it in, and here's how we're incorporating it. So I'll send you an email, but I just wanted to kind of check in with you about
I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it, Shane. I know that's exactly the intention of people coming as trainers and being able to share it out. We are going to have a round, I believe, of ECE programs too within Maine. If you want to be able to come, you could potentially qualify to attend that as well. Because there's a lot of content, especially in the practices, but also in the science that didn't occur in the other Train the Trainer. Because we get into attachment science in this one. We do deeper into sensory integration in this one. So there's stuff that is meaningful and relevant for you that I
That
think,
sounds awesome.
yeah. And then a lot of the practices are very different. So a lot of them are nonverbal too in nature too. So that's,
Yeah.
you know, potentially helpful as well. So,
Perfect.
yeah, yay. I'm so glad.
Thank you so much. And the
Thank you.
ripple effects of your work are continuing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy or Amy Arms. Hi. How are you ladies? Are you guys trying to, I don't know if you guys are trying to say something or not.
There we go.
Okay, good. You made it. You made it happen. Believe me, you saw how much I struggle with the Zoom. I can't make
The
it happen.
internet is out all over here, so we were
Oh, wow.
able to get on our phone, and my phone is, I don't know. But we're so excited about this. We're actually presenting at the Western Maine Educators Consortium on Friday for the regulated classroom and how we integrated it into our district. So we're so excited.
Oh, I love that so much. That makes me so proud. Well, I'm going to be wishing you ladies a lot of luck then to make sure that that goes.
Send it our way. We're so nervous.
Oh, don't. Well, you know, make sure you lead with what you love. Lead with what you love for sure. You know,
I think we have like 58 people attending.
That's amazing.
There's other educators that are doing earlier sessions from some of the other districts. So,
So you've made your mark up here in Western Maine.
yes.
Well, I'm still trying. I'm still trying to make sure. Well, my biggest thing, and I appreciate this so much from you both, is just that the work continues and that it does get a chance to live on beyond trainings and that sort of thing. Because that's, you know, there's no glory in just like a great training. Like, yeah, great. I'm glad you guys had a great training. But if it doesn't go anywhere, what's the point of that type of thing? And so stories like yours and people who continue to carry the torch of the work like you're doing is just music to my ears. So wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Really changed our practice.
Oh, I love that. And do you feel like you see the benefit? I'm assuming you see the benefit of it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We do occupational therapy, so we're throughout the district. So we're able to kind of spread it all over our district. And we got a really good support from our admin. They let us push into like the wellness classes and work with students, push into the classrooms.
Yep.
And we've been able to work with staff meetings, and it's been wonderful.
Oh, you guys, that makes me so happy. Like, are you in the community of practice? Because it's success stories like that that really help others to stay inspired. So even if you're willing to share just that you're training on Friday and like, or if, you know, share a picture of how it goes or anything, that's the whole purpose of it. And I know we're still trying to figure out how to kind of drum engagement up with that. But like,
I'm always so nervous to post, but
please post. No, people take
we
the
will.
risk. Do it, please. I'll at least respond to y'all because I respond to everybody. But yeah, if you can post in there, I'd love that. That would be wonderful.
And we're starting in Maine. We're going to be picking up the early childhood
through CDS.
Through CDS. Our district is starting next year, so this ECE, this early one, is going to be so important for us to get on board as we transition into that.
Yes. Please. Yes.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that training. Training up.
They are. They're going to make more trainings available to y'all too. So that's
awesome.
You know, yeah, it's really great.
Love it.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take good care.
You too.
Hey, Betty.
This was great. I loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you, Betty. Thank you. Like I always say, you were like the OG kindergarten influencer on me.
I learned so much from what everyone says. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I thank you. All right, I'm going to run because I'm starving and I know my team is waiting for me to eat too.
Go for it.
Okay, great to see you again though. Thank you.
Okay.